of curse. They feel like, what the hell? I can't go into a shopping mall, or I can't go
What the hell?
to a hockey game because all those energies, all the people, it's overwhelming to me. And sometimes empaths just stay away from big crowds because of the energy. It's just too much for them. They often are children that they feel alone a lot. They feel kind of isolated, and they feel sick to their stomach a lot because they're picking up on energy and they can't really understand it with their logical mind, but they feel things in their body. And a lot of times these beings are kind of living their experiences in ways that create disruption as far as having medical problems. They may have like stomach disorders and different things going on in their like their energetic makeup of their body. It can really throw them off. So as we learn to come into our power as an empath, and we learn to be in our power and be grounded and to walk on this planet with more of a protection, I'd say protective shield, but I don't really want to give the impression that you have to put on armor, but it's more like a vibrational energy that you're emanating from yourself. And it's the best way I can give the visual for people to understand is imagining that when they're in an energy, like in a big, shopping mall, and there's all these energies they can feel and it's bombarding them, they can imagine that they have this bubble of light around them that's protective, like this bubble, like eggshell around them. And it lets all the love in, all the good stuff can come in, but anything disruptive or low vibration gets kind of deflected off of that shield that they have around them. So that's one thing that you could visualize when you start your day. Just set the intention to call that protective shield in. Another way that you can do it is being very sensory aware. I like to feel it, not just see it. So I'll imagine the feeling of that energetic shield, what it feels like to have that vibrational energy expansion. So I'll tell clients a lot of times, imagine like when you're fearful and you feel vulnerable, it's kind of like you pull your energy in and you feel vulnerable. So you're making your auric field very small, which is really inviting an attack. It's inviting psychic attack or lower vibrational beings that would want to disrupt your energy. You're just kind of inviting them in. So if you handle that in the exact opposite way, instead of going small and protecting yourself, if you imagine your expansion and you imagine your vibration reaching out into that room like the sun, like visualize and feel what that feels like. And you can practice this with, I don't know if any of you know what dowsing wands are, but if you can either make them yourself or you could buy some dowsing wands. I've made them before out of coat hangers. You just take a straight metal coat hanger, bend the end, put like a straw over the end so that you're holding the plastic, and you can just hold them, one in each hand, and as the wires are pointing ahead, as you think of something very heavy and like sad, low vibration, the wands will pull inward and they'll come close to each other. And as you think of something very high vibration and you feel that feeling of expansion, think of someone you love and something that makes you so happy, those wands will open up. And I've demonstrated this in front of people many times, and it's pretty amazing. But it's just a simple little trick you can play with to show energy. So if any of you want to experiment with that, go for it. It'll be a fun little science experiment. But basically, the intention of my telling you this is that some of you, if you're feeling bombarded by the energy out there, you need to be more mindful of setting your intention each day. When you wake up, I set an intention where I step on the floor and I just say to the universe, I'm grounded. I imagine my crown opening to spirit for any guidance or healing, whatever is flowing through me, and I say I'm connected, and then I imagine that bubble or that shell around me, and I affirm that I am protected. I'm divinely protected. And this is a good habit in the beginning for some of you that, maybe just aren't feeling that grounded, you're not feeling protected, you're not feeling like you're connecting with spirit, because you're not setting an intention, so you're just jumping out of bed, hitting the alarm, racing into traffic, there's not enough time, there's not enough money, there's not enough hamster wheel. And we do that, a lot of us, without meaning to, just because we jump into the robotic mode. So for us to really live in a higher vibrational experience, the first thing is to check those habits that you may get into where you go into robotic mode and where you go into fear and lack and where you don't really protect yourself. So I would encourage you to each do that. Start your day with more of an intention, calling in your protection, grounding your energy, and remembering that you're light, remembering that you're high vibration, and that you can emanate that frequency. You choose that. No one else chooses what you put out except you. So on that note, if we are focusing on something that we're angry about or we're fearful about or we're nervous about, then we're in our intellectual mind dwelling about these things. Really what we're doing is we're still participating in third dimensional experience, and we're in a heavier vibration. This is going to make us feel uncomfortable because as we're feeling that encouragement and that push to expand into a fifth dimensional experience where we're in a higher vibration, we can't do both. So if you want to be in fifth dimensional experience and you're in a high vibration where you're in love, you're in hope, you're in joy, you're in gratitude, that feels amazing. It feels lifted. It feels expanded. And if somebody upsets you or somebody disappoints you, it's important that we stay connected to heart. We express how we feel. We express our truth, but we stay aligned in our higher vibration. And I say that because what Archangel Ariel brought to me in a dream recently was she was telling me how one of the ways the lower vibrational energies trick and hook our egos and trick us and pull our energy down is the energy will come in and sense a high vibrational being. Like imagine I'm just like, I'm feeling amazing and Tanya's on fire and she's excited and happy and passionate and everyone near me can feel my expansion and they can feel my vibration. And the lower vibrational energy wants to come in and drag that energy down because it doesn't really like that light. It's like, no, I want to enslave these souls. I want to bring their energy heavy and make them fearful. So one of the ways that ego can be sneaky for us is we're feeling really good about ourselves, confident, and suddenly something happens to trigger an energy of fear or an energy of guilt or shame, and we start to drop in vibration. So for many of us, we have to really remember that we're eternally living in the now. And so whatever we've done in the past or what we've been through, we need to face it, we need to deal with it, and then we need to release it and clear it. If you've done something, like I've had clients who have done things in their past that they feel terrible about because there was a consequence to their choices, and they get through the experience they need to get through to heal, but then they look at the consequence of their actions, and then they're like, Tanya, I feel shameful, I feel so much guilt for what I've done. This energy is exactly how the low vibration wants to hook that soul again that's worked so hard to get free of that heaviness and wants to hook into them and pull them back into heavy. A lot of times people that have had drug addictions or alcohol addictions, this is exactly the roller coaster ride that they're on. They feel like they're coming out of it, they're doing better, they're happy, they're looking at their life in a good way, they're healing themselves, but then they look at all the choices they've made that have caused trouble and that they've hurt people, and then the guilt and shame, boom, they shoot right back down vibrationally. So I'm not saying that if you've done things that hurt others that that's fine, but it is important that you deal with the emotions of whatever you need to deal with. You say you're sorry to people you need to say you're sorry. You face it, you deal with it, and then you release it. So you don't want to drag those chains around for the rest of your life unless you enjoy that heavy energy and you like to be enslaved. If you do, by all means, keep dragging the chains because that's what you're doing. But for most of us that are on this journey of expansion and we're here knowing that we're consciously evolving, we don't want to feel that heaviness anymore. We know that it's not helping us. we have the conscious awareness that we must cut the cords and release those chains if we're going to be lighter, if we're going to go into higher vibration. So that's the message that's been coming through, is just to be very mindful of energies and of intentions and of your own awareness. Like, how are you seeing the now? Are you looking out of the eyes of lack, or are you looking out of the eyes of love? Are you centered in your heart space, and is your heart chakra linked with the earth's heart chakra to where, how may I serve? How may I contribute? How may I assist? And how may I love myself and others? Or are you coming from ego, and you're in your mind of trying to figure it out and trying to, heal everything or fix everything from an egotistical point of view, which will create more judgment and suffering. So a few little pointers there, and I've got more to say, but I'm going to take a little pause to see if anybody is calling in or wants to call in, or if anybody is writing in with any questions or comments. Anything, Amnon?
Thank you.
Okay.
Just hello, and how are you, and hi.
Hi, hello, how are you all? I'm awesome. I hope you're awesome, and thank you for joining us. So, yeah, if any of you want to call in, remember 919-518-9773. Call in, and I'll do a reading for you. So why not? Seize the moment. So back to this topic of protection and purification. One of the things that came up in our meeting, I'll keep saying meeting because I really see these workshops I'm doing more like galactic meetings. Like, the angels tell me it's time to explain this to them. We want you to have a gathering, and I listen, and then I just set up what we call a workshop, but it's really more like an angelic meeting. And the people that came were all really tuning in and listening to what was going on, and they all had confirmation of situations in particular that week in regards to aliens, which blew my mind, because I was like, okay, guys, I'm either going to say stuff that's going to help you really trust that Tanya is still tuned in, or I'm going to be saying stuff that's going to make you think, okay, Tanya's crazy, and you're going to leave and never come back to my workshops. But I've decided to always trust and speak truth, and that's just what the angels have encouraged me to do, and I'm going to keep doing it. And it was amazing how many of them had similar things happening that week, and one girl in particular, she was like, Tanya, if you'd have told me this a week ago, I might have been kind of like, what? But she said, it's so interesting of the timing, which I like to call divine timing, that I had brought it up to her at that time because she had things happen in that week that totally was bringing awareness of different alien experiences and energies that are here helping us. So it's very interesting. And she had been reading a book. I'm trying to remember what it was called, like The Evolving Soul or something like that. And she said that it's been an amazing book for her, helping her to just understand like past lives and how we need to clear, which is what I do as a healer and an angelic intuitive auric healer, is I am helping clear the vibrational memory, cellular memory that's no longer serving a human or an animal, so that they can shift into a different vibration. And she was reading a book very much about this kind of healing and what's important and how it's so important for each of us to do this work if we want to go higher in vibration. So one of the things that we both chatted about is we had both gone to this expo. It was a Mind, Body, Spirit Expo. I think I mentioned it last time on the show. And we had both attended it, and so did another woman that was in the workshop. And what we all noticed is that when we went in, the feeling I got was kind of like if you could imagine that the humans coming into this expo were salmon, and we were spawning upstream, and the people at the booths were like the fishermen, and they were trying to hook us and grab us and pull us in. And that's the energy I picked up on in this expo. And I only met a couple people in that whole gathering that felt authentic and felt like they were really of a high vibration to help others. But for the most part, a lot of the people, just the energy I picked up on was very manipulative, very salesy, kind of desperate, trying to grab people and get them to need what they have to say, but it wasn't really very honest and very like high vibration with honesty and